What's up, you guys? Happy Sunday. Lord, I said Charles. Chuck, I'm so sorry. I wasn't trying to confuse anybody. So listen, I had to change the time, and I'm sorry about the kamikaze of the time situation. Um, Long story short, I normally start watching the episode at like 8:20, 8:30, so I can fast forward through the commercials. But I was actually doing something, and I didn't start watching the episode until like 8:40, and I said, well, I don't think I'm gonna be done by 9:15. So I gave myself too much time by scheduling it for 10:30. I don't know why I gave myself that much time. And then when I looked up, it was like 9:40 and I was done. And I was like, well, ain't no need me waiting another 30 minutes when I'm done watching the episode. So sorry about the kamikaze of the time. Sorry about the confusion, but there it is. Sorry about that, you guys. So, hey, everybody coming in. Hey, Brown Mama said, Porsha doesn't have a storyline and line on the friendship. Porsha and Shamea were preparing for her return when they traveled together. Chuck said, was Porsha's mouth moving? Yes. Then she was lying. Dang, y'all a dragon, Porsha. Remember when Porsha updated Simon's wedding band in Dubai? Remember when they were twirling around Atlanta as well? Porsha just played in people's faces again with all her lies. Huh. Okay. And Chuck, did you need me to send you my phone number again? I know you earlier said you wanted to Zelle me. So I can send, if you don't have the email with or don't still have my phone number, just email me and I'll shoot it to you because I forgot what your email address was. And I thought I had saved you in my phone. But I don't know if I don't child. Chuck, I thought I had saved you in my phone, boo. And Wait, but yes, I did. Hold on, let me make sure this is you. No, this ain't you. This is another Chuck. That's not you. Sorry. So just do that. So we can take care of that this week. Okay. Greetings and salutations. Okay, come on in, everybody. Come on in. Let's get into it. This ain't gonna take that long. First of all, bravo. Stop. See, I blame us for this. And when I say us, I mean us as viewers, us as consumers. I blame us for these three-part reunions. Because what happened was the reunion used to be one episode, one and done. Then we had a juicy season on one of the shows, and they did a 2-part episode. Then we had an even juicier, and then we had a 3-part reunion. And now, because of advertisement, ratings, this, that, and the other, now they're going to stretch 3 parts out of every damn season, whether it is worthy of 3 parts or not. Now, I think, what show was that recently that only had a 2-part reunion? Was that New York? Was that the New York reboot? One of them recently only had a 2-part reunion. But baby, if they're going to try to get blood from this turnip, okay? They are going to get blood from this turnip. So you got the number. Okay, Chuck, just shoot me a text and I'll save it this time. Yeah, I am very conscious about when people give me their number for a specific reason. I am very conscious about not just feeling like I got people's phone number like da. And so I feel like that's what I did with you, Chuck. You gave me your number when I came to Louisville last year, and I probably forgot to ask you if it was okay to save your number, and so I didn't. If I go back through my text messages, I can, probably find it. But I'm very, very conscious about that because I'm, I guess I have manners, child. I don't know. But we didn't need 3 parts. And this episode really could have been, they really could have just spread. They could have cut the first part out and just took it was only a few juicy parts in part 1 and then spliced it in. But it is what it is. We're here now. So let me get to my notes. And I don't have many. Okay? I don't have many notes. Okay? Hey, the informs. Hey, boo. So we start off with Porsha and Shamea. We kind of already talked about this, but Porsha and Shamea are arguing about basically where their relationship is, and they brought up the mothers, right? Porsha tells the story about what happened between their mother, and Porsha said, hey, your mom, basically my mom was losing her business and your mom bought it up from under her, and we didn't even find out about it until we were driving past and um they were taking down my mom's sign and putting your mom's sign up. Shamea was like, girl, they were not speaking for years before that happened. And because your mother did something egregious to my mother, which I don't even think we need to get into. Now, I feel like the ladies on that couch know the real story, because immediately when it went there, immediately Cynthia and Phaedra were both like, whoa, we need to stop this right here. And even Andy, I think somebody must have kicked Andy under the table. I mean, I know there's not a real table, but y'all know what I'm saying, because even Andy's messy nosy ass kind of was like, oh yeah, all right, well let's move on. And y'all know Andy wanted to know, because Andy was like, well, what happened with the mothers? But I feel like Cynthia must have gave Andy a look, or Phaedra must have gave Andy a look, and Andy was like, okay, we're gonna move on from that. And I do feel like that was edited. I don't feel like it was edited to protect anybody. I just feel like we might not have seen all of the non-verbal contact, because Andy absolutely pivoted. Now, we've heard two different versions of what happened between the mothers. And I personally, this is only my opinion, I personally feel like it's a combination of the two stories. The story that House of Aaron told, and I love House of Aaron, but we know that House of Aaron probably got that story from Porsha's camp. And I love House of Aaron. However, Shamea seems to have a different version of the story, or at least where the story started. I feel like Shamea conceded that her mother did that, because she didn't argue that her mother didn't do it. What she said was, when that happened, they weren't friends. And I kind of believe. You said, what is my goal for tonight? Well, because we starting late, I'm not gonna. But what I will have an open panel this week, Nikki. I will do an open panel this week. At some point, I will drop the link at some point. It may not be, obviously, it won't be about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, but I will drop the link. Have an open panel, and I'll make sure you're here, Nikki. I'll make sure you're here. So when you come into my chat, drop down so I'll know you're here. But I'm not going to do it tonight. Because I'm starting later than I had anticipated, and honestly, I'm just being honest. I'm not going to do it tonight. We didn't meet our goal yesterday, but I will do an open panel this week. So just when I go live, just drop down, and even if I'm talking about Big Brother or whatever, I'll open up the panel at some point this week. Okay. Oh, and members, I had some tea that I'm gonna put in membership. Yeah. I know I haven't been doing a lot with the membership on this side, but I had some tea that I'm gonna put in membership at some point this week as well. Okay. I don't understand why Mama Shamea had to tell Mama Knowles wanna be that she was. Why I pull this mic out? I know this mic ain't connected to this damn computer. I think it's just a habit now, me pulling the mic out. That she was buying her business and she ran it to the ground. Let me say this, and I said this when I did my live earlier this week, when we kind of talked about this. I think I did it on Saturday or Friday. Let me be honest and tell y'all this. For me, if they were friends, then I think that was a shady thing to do. If they were no longer friends, especially if the friendship ended badly, I don't feel like it was an issue. Just because we used to be friends, or just because we know each other, especially if we're no longer friends, and I feel like you did something to me, I feel like you betrayed me in some sort of way, because allegedly the other side of the story is their friendship fell out over a man. And if that is what the situation is, if that's how it went down, and Mama Shamea feel like Mama Diane did her dirty over a dude, and then fast forward, she had the opportunity to exact some revenge. Listen. Now, that's my opinion about that. I personally... That's just how I feel about it. Now, again, I don't know the story. And y'all know I try to take situations on a situation by situation basis. I don't believe everything Shamea says. I don't believe everything Porsha says. But in this situation, if I'm being honest, in this situation, I do feel like it's more to the story, because I don't know nothing about Shamea's mama, so I can't say what somebody would or would not do. But I feel like I believe the fact that Shamea, that the mothers had other issues. And I feel like her buying the daycare from up under her, well, really, she lost the daycare. It was in foreclosure. Her buying that property, I feel like, was the conclusion and not the beginning. Y'all feel what I'm saying? I feel like it was the conclusion and not the beginning. Now, Nikki B, I understand your point too. Nikki B said, if someone has beef with my mom, we can't be besties anymore. Sad, but that's my mama. That's kind of how I feel about it too. I don't know what happened between them mamas, but I do feel like I don't know if I could be besties with somebody that did my mama dirty. Now, the mothers may have told both of them, listen, what we got going on is between us. Y'all, it doesn't have to affect y'all. And maybe the mothers were mature enough to say, hey, y'all are friends. Y'all relationship is outside of this. This is grown folk business. Stay out of grown folk business. If this happened as long ago as it sounds like it happened, they may not have been privy to the whole story until they were adults. I don't know, because I don't know. I feel like, see, I don't know these people, but I'm gonna just tell you what I feel. I'm gonna just tell you what I feel like. Just seeing these people on the outside looking at, and I don't know neither one of these people. Let me be clear, but I feel like Mama Diane is the kind of person that would tell Porsha what's going on, and I feel like Shamea mama would be like, this grown folk business, stay out of it. But I don't know neither one of them women, so I can't say that that's true. That's just a first impression. That's my impression of the two women. You see what I'm saying? But I don't know either one to be true. Okay. Hell, if she couldn't buy the building out of foreclosure and Miss Diane's, it's Miss Diane's problem. She can buy what she wants and the girls remain friends. In case people forgot, friends even up to the divorce. Mama Diane has no filter. I got that impression too. Yeah. So again, if they were no longer friends, then I don't feel like Shamea's mama did nothing wrong, especially if Porsha mama was losing the business. And let's be clear, y'all, we don't have all of the details. I know some of y'all have told me some things allegedly went down at the daycare. I don't really want to get into it. I haven't done the research, and I really don't want to speak on those kinds of things because they're kind of sensitive and deal with children. So I don't really want to get into that. But what I will say is, a lot has to happen for a business to go into foreclosure, right? You don't just wake up one day and you're in foreclosure. It's a lot. It's layered and it's a process. So we don't know the full story. Like, you don't just wake up one day and you're losing your business. So then again, maybe Shamea's mama did try to help Porsha's mama and it didn't work. Like, we don't know. But I do know that the minute it went to the other thing that happened, the whole subject was changed, and they got about that real quick. That I do know. They got about that real quick. So I don't know what the full story is, but I know we got up out of it real quick. Now, here's what I do believe will probably happen. It's a low blow. I wouldn't buy an ex-friend's establishment when there's so many other locations to choose from. Even if we left on bad terms, I would feel like I received bad karma behind it. I could understand that. Would I do it? Maybe, depending on what. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a petty bitch sometimes. So would I do it if I had the means and I had the opportunity? Depend on what she did to me. I'm just gonna tell y'all the truth. I'm gonna call a thing a thing. It depends on what she did to me. Now, I'm just going to tell y'all the truth and shame the devil. Now, would I seek it out? Maybe, depending on what she did to me. But if it fell in my lap and I had the means, now, if it was somebody I still called a friend or somebody that we're just not as cool as we used to be, we just lost touch with each other, no, I would give them a phone call. I would give them that heads up. I would give them a phone call. Say, hey, look, I see that you're losing your business. You know, I'm in the daycare business. This is a building that's already ready to open. I wouldn't have to do a lot of renovation to it because it's already set up for daycare. I'm just, I'm letting you know what's going on. It is what it is. I'm letting you know what's going on. I may. But if it's somebody that did me dirty and I don't F with them no more and I feel like they did me dirty, I ain't gonna sit here and tell y'all I wouldn't do it. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all, child. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. Did she own the building or was it commercial property owned by someone else? Good question, Symmetry. I don't know the answer to that. Foreclosures are very cheap. I tell you all the time, my house was a foreclosure. Sure was. It was technically it was a short sale, but it was a married couple getting a divorce and they had to get out of this house. And the house was getting ready to go into foreclosure. I mean, it was a short sale. To me, a short sale and a foreclosure are like, the difference is like, but yeah. So, can we all agree that the daughters don't have the whole story either? You know what, Cahoots? I think that's, you know what? We're going to agree, and that's what we're going to put this exclamation point on that conversation. Yes. I think we can agree on that neither one of that the two daughters don't have the whole story either. Both daughters have their mother's version of what happened. Boom. Cahoots, thank you. That's a perfect exclamation point on that. Okay. Moving right along. What I wrote? Text messages talking behind my back. Oh, child, I'm done with Porsha and Shamea. I think that's just the text messages and who said what behind each other's back. I feel like both of them was talking shit. Honestly, I do. I just think that Shamea was dumb enough to do it with people that were going to take it back to Porsha. Because Porsha even said that Shamea said some shit in their friend group and their friend group that's outside of the Real Housewives. I just think that Shamea was dumb enough to do it with people that was going to take it back to Porsha. But I think both of them did it, personally. Andy did confirm, though, that Porsha has been advocating for Shamea to be a full-time housewife. Now, listen. And people can say, well, Andy was lying. That's fine. But I can only go by what somebody said. And I believe Andy. I believe Andy because here's the thing. And it came up later on in the episode. One of the things that Porsha said was the holdup from Shamea not becoming a full-time housewife is that her husband did not want to film. Did you catch at the end when the husband / boyfriend / baby daddies came out? What did Andy say to Shamea? Where's Gerald? And Shamea said he's at home with his kids. And Andy said what? He couldn't get a babysitter? I mean, they were filming it right there in Atlanta. It's not like Gerald had to get on a plane. It's not like they had to pack up the nanny. Did you peep that Andy was like, so that she couldn't get a babysitter? I feel like that was Andy's way of reminding her, ma'am, we talked about this. Ma'am, hey, we talked about this. Shamea was getting that from Candy that Porsha didn't want her there. She got it from somewhere. I don't think she made that up in her head. But I also don't think Candy was the only one saying it. That doesn't make it true, but I just don't think Candy was the only one saying it. Oh no, it's not a wrap for Shamea. Oh no, Shamea is definitely invited back. Let me say this. We as a fan base may have been disappointed in what Shamea did, but let's be clear. Shamea solidified her opportunity to come back. If nothing else, she solidified her opportunity to come back with this Porsha situation. Even if her and Porsha don't make up, there's the storyline. That's the storyline. So Shamea absolutely will have an opportunity to come back. But don't be surprised if we see more of Gerald next season. I'm not saying he's going to be as active as a Peter Thomas. I'm not saying that. But don't be surprised if we see, even if we just get a one-on-one conversation between Gerald and Shamea over breakfast, drinking some coffee. Don't be surprised if we get a one-on-one with Gerald and Shamea in the car on their way to the dealership to buy another Bentley. Like, I don't know, but don't be surprised if we see. I'm not saying we're gonna get as much of Gerald as we would get of somebody else, but notice how Dennis said him and Gerald are good friends. Don't be surprised if we might get Dennis and Gerald film a scene eating lunch together. I don't know. But she's definitely, from my understanding, she's definitely been offered a peach. She's definitely been offered her peach. But they always get notes from production. They always get notes from production, and that is going to probably be one of her notes. We got to see Gerald more. But moving right along. Andy was trying to figure out where we go from here. Porsha said in this moment where she is right now, she's not interested. Now, by the end of the reunion, it seemed like she was open, but in that moment, she was like, I'm not interested. She was like, where I am right now in my life, I don't have the bandwidth for it. I don't have the bandwidth for it. Now, I found it interesting. Shamea, this is what you do that irritates people. This is what you do that stresses people out. And when I say people, I'm talking about me. Girl, when Andy asked you, you were like, instead of answering his question, which you eventually did answer and say, at the end, you were like, well, maybe, next time I won't hold on to stuff so much. I'll be more open and talking. Instead of answering Andy's question, which was specific to where you are in the relationship, you want to respond to Porsha. Well, I've gone through a lot too. And I wish that's what I would have done when I was going through a lot. Say, I just don't have the bandwidth right now. I just don't have the bandwidth. Girl, focus on you. Focus on you, ma'am. On you. Girl. See, that's why you lost the reunion. That's why that's why your grade was an F for this reunion. Because Porsha has been doing this a lot longer, and Porsha knows how to play the game. Excuse me. That's why somebody the other day was talking about Porsha being dumb. I said, ain't nothing dumb about Porsha. Now, Porsha has her dumb blonde moments. But I do not believe Porsha is dumb. Let me tell you something. And I think I told y'all this before. In hindsight, I think some of Porsha's shit that she said early on the show was calculated. The 368 days a year, the Underground Railroad. Honestly, y'all, I think some of that shit was calculated at this point. Number one, because look at where we are now. It's iconic. We still talk about that fucking Underground Railroad shit. I honestly think some of that was calculated. And let me tell you why. Y'all remember Jessica Simpson? Listen, you gotta be in the Gen, what am I, Gen X, Gen Z? I don't even know what generation I'm in. But you gotta be in my generation to get this. Jessica Simpson was a pop singer. I don't know if she's come out with new music or not, because I don't listen to it. But she had a reality show on MTV years ago, many years ago. Her and her husband, Nick Lachey. Nick Lachey was a part of a boy band called 98 Degrees. Oh, she said 265, whatever the hell she said, child, whatever she said. Thank you, Chuck. I'm Gen X. Thank you. And Jessica Simpson said some of the most iconic shit. One of the things she talked about was chicken under the sea. And she had a whole conversation thinking that there really were chickens under the sea. She was like, what kind of chicken is under the sea? And her husband literally had a whole conversation with her about it's really just tuna fish and da-da-da-da-da. That became iconic. She also had this whole moment where they were talking about buffalo wings. And she was like, oh my gosh, I really thought buffalo had wings. I didn't know. Really? Buffaloes don't have wings? Fast forward many years later, she told us in an interview, oh, I did that on purpose. Yeah, I did that on purpose. I was playing the dumb blonde role. I was giving people what they wanted. I was being interesting. And fast forward to 2020. Well, shit, I was going to say, 2025. She runs a multi-million-dollar company. I don't even think, like I said, I don't think she's sang a song in years, but she runs a multi-million-dollar company. She's not dumb. And I say the same thing about Porsha. Now, do I think that Porsha has made some missteps and some miscalculations and all of that? Yeah, yeah. But I don't think Porsha's dumb. I think she's calculated. Anyway. Nubian said, "No, you can't pay me to embarrass myself on national television for any kind of money." Yeah, but everybody ain't you, boo. Hell, you wouldn't have been able to pay me to date Simon, no matter how much money he has. But hey, you wouldn't have been able to pay me to marry Donald Trump. But hey, Melania ain't had no problem with it. You know what I mean? So everybody has a price. Well, no, that's not what I mean to say. Everybody does not have a price. But there are prices that people are willing to pay for what they want. That's a better way of me saying that. Nah, really be you're giving Porsha way too much credit. She's really dumber than no, she's not. I don't believe that, Kevin. Again, do I think that she's Einstein? I do not. But I don't think that. Let me tell you something. And I wasn't doing reviews back then, but I remember having this conversation when that episode aired. You are not going to convince me that the granddaughter of a civil rights icon doesn't fucking know what the Underground Railroad is. You're just not going to convince me of that. Now, do I think she was playing that part? Absolutely, I believe that. I believe it. But that's just me. Listen, we all believe what we believe. But moving right along. And she might be, but I just don't believe it. Okay, moving right along. So then we get into Drew. Now, Drew, they talked about the divorce and all that good stuff. Drew said the kids are all in therapy now. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm sorry. Lauren corrected me. Lauren said Jessica Simpson's collection brand made over $2 billion with a B, and she owns 100% of her company. So there you go. And that's the same person that was like, buffalo wings. I didn't know buffalo had wings. President and CEO of a $1 billion company. But again, some of us, some people are willing to do it. Some people, listen, y'all know what they say, what people to do for money. What they do for the love of money, honey. Okay. Now, Drew, I'm going to say this, and we went through Drew's divorce paperwork, right? We went through Drew's divorce paperwork over here. Baby, Drew, it's in the paperwork that them kids are supposed to be in therapy. That was in the paperwork. So I respect the fact that you have those kids in therapy now because you did not have them in therapy before. But girl, you were supposed to have them in therapy. Moving right along. They didn't really ask about the status of the divorce. She talked about the cooking video. She said that, that was them attempting to basically co-parent, and he took that and exploited it, posted it on the internet, and made it look like something it wasn't. She said that, it's just a shame that every time they seem to take a step forward, they end up having to take steps back because of Ralph. Now, did y'all see that Ralph dropped the R&B single yesterday? Talking about the name of the song is called "I Wish You Will." See, Ralph, that's the reason why I be thinking all this shit with you is calculated. I was sitting here thinking that the court paper, right, Chuck, right? The court paper the judge told you to put them kids in therapy, okay? Now, damn, I just lost what I was getting ready to say. Shit. Damn it. Something I was getting ready to say, I don't forgot now. Damn, it was something about Ralph and that single. It don't matter. The cooking video. Girl in the basement. So Drew talked about there being a girl in the basement. She said because they live in a gated community, there's a manifest. So she knew exactly who came into the community. She had the woman's name. She knew that she was at the house. She said she saw her on the security camera. So she knows that the woman was there. Now, she said that when she went to the kids' school, the girl was there. Now, she didn't get into whether the woman was a teacher or a parent, but she said that she was so Ralph must have met her at the kids' school. Well, not, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say must have met her there, but it was just a real coinky dink that she was one of the parents. It was a real coinky dink that Drew ran into the woman at the school, right? And then Drew said the woman had the nerve to have an attitude with her. I don't know about that part, but what's on my phone? Oh, sorry. I thought that was my phone ringing. Ralph said later on that woman was there to get some workout advice, doing some fitness. Yeah, you was working her out all right, Ralph. I believe 100% that woman came up in that basement. But let's be clear. I think it's nasty to bring a woman into the house that you sharing with your soon-to-be ex-wife, even if you do have like a whole separate quarters and a separate entrance and all that. I think that's tacky as hell. I feel like you could have went to a hotel and met her at a hotel and do what you do. I mean, separated people date all the time. So that part I don't even care about. But I do think that that's kind of tacky to bring her into the house. But okay. Oh, yeah, Drew said she looked her up on Instagram. That's how she knew what she looked like. I looked up on Instagram, too. I ain't even going to tell you no lies. So then they brought up Drew's lying. So they brought up the Balmain event where Drew was like, I did buy something. She said, but they didn't have my size that day. So the shopper found my size, and then I purchased it. And Kelly was like, yes, but the purpose of that event was to buy something that day that would have counted so that the donation would have gone towards the charity that we were raising money for. So by you not actually purchasing it that day, you didn't buy something that day, and therefore I didn't get the donation. Now let me say this. I believe what Drew said, but I also believe that Drew's not stupid and she understood the assignment. Like, Drew, you know how these things work. You buying something a week later, it does not go towards the charity. Even if you saw something you wanted, I think she bought like a blazer or something. Girl, you still could have picked up something in your size. They had something at Balmain in your size that you could have picked up. You could have picked up a purse. You could have picked up a skirt. You could have bought a couple of t-shirts. Like, girl, you knew what it was, Drew. You knew what it was. And then they brought up the whole Michael Jordan thing. Drew talking about something. It was just a joke. No, it wasn't. Girl, you was dead ass. And here's how I know it wasn't no joke, because you ain't say psych. See, I'm a kid. When you tell a joke, you got to let somebody know it's a joke. You can't say something and then you never say psych. You never start laughing. You never start saying, girl, he my cousin in my head. We got the same last name. I know somewhere along the line we related. Girl, if you had said that, then we would have all known it was a joke. But girl, you said Michael Jordan was your cousin, and they even asked you, for real? You were like, yeah, girl. You never said psych. You never changed it up. You never said, I'm just playing, y'all. You know I don't know nothing about no Michael Jordan. Girl, you really, and then you tried to say that you was connected to that, but girl, you was lying. Now, I don't know why you thought that nobody was going to fact check you. Like, that's an easy thing to Google and fact check. See, what you didn't know was that Angela could get on the phone. I don't know why you didn't, because Charles Oakley played basketball with Michael Jordan at some point in time. They damn sure was in the league at the same time. I don't know why you didn't think that Angela could get on the phone to call somebody and confirm and verify, but I don't know if you thought that far ahead. And that's why I be telling y'all that Drew be lying, and Drew be lying about shit that ain't even necessary to lie about. Drew be lying about shit that you just don't have to lie about. Girl, you ain't got to lie about that. So why does Drew have to buy something that she doesn't like? She understood it was for charity and thought to still buy it from the company would be okay. No, she didn't. No, she didn't. Because we've all done that before. Now, usually it's not at Balmain. Usually it's like Krispy Kreme or Buffalo Wild Wings or Chipotle. You understand that when people are doing stuff for charity, it is for that day. You can't buy something later on and purchase it and it still count towards that sale. No, you can't. I don't believe that. I don't believe that Drew didn't understand that. I don't believe that Drew didn't understand that. Drew knew that she didn't buy nothing that day. Now, had she paid for it that day, but they said, well, we got to order it and it'll come in. Had she said, well, let me go ahead and pay for it today so the sale will count. But girl, you didn't buy it that day. You knew that shit wasn't going to count towards the purchase. Because, and here's the reason why I say that. Because what Drew said at first was, I did buy something. She said, I did make a purchase that day. And she showed the receipt. Well, come to find out at the reunion, she said, well, I didn't buy it that day, but they didn't have it in my size. So I had to wait for them to find my size and then purchase it. So then you didn't buy something that day. And I understand that for some people, they might say it's semantics, but that's how these things work. When Krispy Kreme says, hey, everybody that comes in here today, we're going to donate 10 cents to your school. That's when the PTA gets all of their friends. They send out the emails and the text messages and they say, hey, go down to Krispy Kreme today and get some damn donuts so that they can make a donation to my kid's school. I've gone to those at Buffalo Wild Wings. I've gone to those events at Chipotle. You can't go to Chipotle 2 days later and say, well, y'all were out of chicken on Monday when I came through, so I'm going to buy a burrito today. Can you count it towards Monday's sale? That's not how that shit works. And I don't believe that Drew doesn't understand that. Now, you might feel like she did, and that's fine. But I don't feel like she did, because if she didn't, she wouldn't have lied about it. You don't see the subscribe icon? Oh, well, thank you for wanting to subscribe, Adore. I don't know why it's not there. Can if you go back to, like, if you go out and just look at my just go to my page, you'll see you see the subscribe button there. I don't know why it's not there. Not how Krispy, because I've gone to those things at Krispy Kreme before. Y'all never seen Krispy Kreme do those before? I'm just bringing up an example of what I can afford, because I know if somebody invite me to a Balmain event and say every purchase today goes towards, I probably might not show up because I might not have Balmain money that day. And I might be like, girl, can I just write you a check for $50? Because that's what I got. I got $50. I can't go buy a $500 bottle of perfume. I don't have that today. Sorry, not sorry. Okay. All Drew's lies are usually semantics. It's almost like she has a line problem. It's still a lie. Right, that's what I'm saying. Now, again, when Kelly brought it up earlier in the season, Chick-fil-A does it too. Yeah. When Kelly brought it up earlier in the season, thank you, Brooklyn. Click the bell. La Queen said, click the bell. Thank you, boo. When Kelly brought it up earlier in the season, Drew said, I did make a purchase. Here's my receipt. And she did show a receipt. Now, I don't remember if they showed the date. What up? What up, y'all? Y'all say I got 5 on it. Exactly. Like, I ain't doing all of that. I give you what I got. You know what I'm saying? Sheesh. But that's my opinion. Moving right along. Why I write this? Oh, so then they brought up the story that Shamea carried back about the royalties of it all. And honestly, just like I said during the season, Shamea, you were being shady and how you repeated that to Porsha. And Porsha even said, well, when I saw it play back, it didn't piss me off. I do feel like there was a little shade there, but that's certainly not the way it was carried back to me. And at that point, I feel like Shamea was like, well, damn, you know what? From now on, I'm going to mind my business. Shamea, that's all we've been telling you from the beginning. That is where you get the lapdog moniker from. Like, that is where you get the lapdog moniker from. You see what I'm saying? Thank you, Adore, for subscribing. Thank you, my love. Because that is not, like, that's not what Drew said. Drew was like, the way these royalties are set up. She didn't say, I'm doing it. She said, the way we signed this contract, this album, if it's a hit, ... And when you carried it back to Porsha, you did put some stank on it. You did. You know, so that is why, like Shamea, nobody's telling you not to be a ride or die friend. Nobody's telling you can't be a ride or die friend. But there's a difference between being ride or die and just being somebody's lapdog. All of that was unnecessary. And then the funny thing is, that was the same day that you went out to eat and drinks with Angela and Drew. That's the same day you was talking shit about Porsha. That's funny to me. That's the same day that you was talking shit about Porsha. Child. Girl. So then they bring out the men, and Porsha was filming with Ralph. Now, I'm sorry. Porsha and they started with Dennis, I believe. Is it me or Dennis did? Oh no, no, they didn't bring out the men. They talked about Porsha filming with Ralph. Now Porsha, on Monday's episode, not Monday, on the first part of this reunion, you said you were just being shady. You filming with Ralph was just you being shady because you felt some kind of way about her filming with Dennis. Now, tonight, you were like, well, I just thought it was fake. Like, I didn't think it was real with you and Ralph, because y'all used to make up and break up. I didn't think it was real. Even if you didn't think it was real, it was still shady. Why you ain't standing that shit? Like, again, and I don't know how this was edited or whatever the situation is, but again, if you were being petty when you in part 1 of the episode, you were still being petty in part 3. It's not Drew's fault they didn't have it in her size. I understand that. And I'm not saying that Drew, listen, I'm not even saying that Drew had to buy something. But what I'm saying is Drew was playing games and playing semantics. Because Cali girl said, well, she shouldn't have to buy something she don't like. You're absolutely correct. She didn't have to buy something she didn't like. She didn't have to buy something that was out of her price range. She didn't have to buy anything. What I'm saying though is when you were approached about saying you didn't buy anything, you played word salad. That's all I'm saying. Because see, I'ma tell you, I didn't see nothing I like. Can I write a check? Like, I want to support, because listen, you're gonna get more than money if I write you a check anyway, because Balmain is gonna take you're only gonna get about 10% of this purchase. If I buy a $300 bottle of perfume and you're only gonna get 10% of that, hell, you ain't gonna get but $30. But let me buy you. Can I write you a check for $100? You're gonna get more than the percentage you was gonna get off of that sale anyway. I don't know what the percentage is, child. It might have been 50%. I don't know. But I'm just saying, Drew could have just wrote a check. If you didn't see anything you like, you didn't have to buy anything. The point was to raise money for charity. You could have pulled Kelly aside and said, girl, I don't see nothing up in here. Can I just cash app you? Let me cash app you about $100 right now. Like, can I sell you $150? You know what I'm saying? I've done that before. Y'all ain't never done that before. You like been somewhere for a charity event and you buy a ticket knowing you ain't going. You just want to buy the ticket. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to this shit. But you selling tickets, I know it's for charity. Go on, give me that $50 ticket. I'll buy it. I'm not coming because I'm not interested in whatever this event is that you selling it for. But I want to support your charity. So let me go and buy this damn ticket. Or people be having them raffles. And then you buy the raffle tickets. And you be like, go on, give me $20 worth of tickets. And the raffle, it might say you got to be present to win. Well, you know you ain't going to be there, so you don't care about it. Because you don't care about winning an inflatable cooler for the pool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care about this shit. But we do stuff like that all the time. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying, y'all. I hear what y'all are telling me. I hear what y'all are saying, but I'm just saying that Drew's response. And I also think it's Drew's history. And I know a lot of y'all that like Drew be like, well, what did she lied about? Child, I done gave you 3 examples in tonight's episode alone. I just gave you 3 examples tonight. So in the history of Drew on this show, Drew play word salad a lot. She play a lot. Okay. But Drew said she didn't know. And Kelly said, I was trying to tell you. She said she would have wrote a check. Moving right along. Child. Again, Drew be lying. Moving right along. So that's my opinion. Y'all don't have to agree with me. It's okay. I just think Drew be lying. Anyway, so yeah, Porsha filming with Ralph. Petty. And even Shamea said that was my girl. I was looking out for my girl. So yes, I was being petty. So Shamea admitted that the whole thing with them filming with Ralph was petty. She admits that it was petty. Okay. So then they bring the men out. Is it me? Or did Dennis leave Porsha out to dry through this for this whole? Is it me? Or did Dennis leave Porsha out to dry? And can I say I respect that, Dennis, because the easy thing would have been to go along with what Porsha said. But Dennis was like, no. What did Drew lie about? Did you watch the show, Tamar? Are you talking to me? Chuck, are you talking to me? Because I literally just told y'all 3 lies that Drew told. Right. First, Dennis said that he did tell Porsha that he was filming with Drew. Now, what he said was, Porsha was like, did you ask me? No, he didn't ask you. But he said that he told you. Now, he said that he didn't have an in-depth conversation with you about it. He said he went to Ralph because man to man, he's cool with Ralph. He's friends with Ralph. And he went to Ralph. And he said, I figured that the women would handle it. So I thought that Drew would have gone to Porsha so they could have a deeper conversation about it. But Dennis said he did tell Porsha. Now, again, just like I just got on Drew, Porsha, I'm going to get on you too. You've been saying all this time that Dennis didn't say shit to you. Now, what you said was, did you ask me? Did we have a conversation about it? See, now you adding shit to the sauce. You said that Dennis didn't tell you nothing. You said Dennis didn't tell you nothing. Now we adding shit to the sauce. Now it's, well, did you ask? Did you do this? Did you do that? Now, Drew was like, I asked Dennis. Dennis told me he told Porsha. So in my mind, we was good. I told y'all from the beginning, I believe we don't even have 100 likes. We got 200 people in here. Can y'all hit the like button, please? I appreciate y'all. Please. I done stretched almost an hour out of this bullshit. Can we get 100 likes, please? It was about the filming not working on the album, semantics. So I'm going to say this. I hear you, Symmetry. I'm going to say this. Porsha know what it gives. Porsha know that they're filming. Porsha know everybody needs a storyline. Porsha knew they was going to film Drew in the studio working on the album. She knew that. Now, again, do I think that they sat down and had an in-depth conversation with Porsha about what it was going to look like when they were going to be filming and all of that? No. I mean, I don't think they did that. But I think Porsha knew. I do think Porsha knew. And I know I just got finished giving Drew the blues, but see, this way y'all know I could take situation by situation. I believed Drew from the beginning on this one. I absolutely believe Drew from the beginning on this one. That Porsha knew. Oh, I got you, boo. Thank you, Symmetry. I got you. I believed Porsha knew from the beginning. Now, again, I don't think Porsha cared until her storyline blew up. Once Porsha's storyline blew up, I think that's when Porsha cared about Dennis filming with Drew. Because Dennis was her backup plan. Amir Couture said, I just got in here. I have a question. Why was Ralph's line asked there? Because he's a husband. I mean, hell, they had, listen, this reunion was so desperate. They had friends of the show on the couch for all 3 parts. They had Phaedra, who was only there for 2 weeks, on the couch for all 3 parts. They had baby daddy Dennis. They had husband / soon to be ex-husband Ralph. Like, they did so much shit on this reunion. You could tell that they was desperate and piecing this shit together, honey. We ain't never seen them. I ain't never seen them keep somebody on the couch, a friend of the show, on the couch for the whole damn reunion. Cynthia came out in the first segment of part 1, and she didn't leave until the end. Phaedra only filmed for 2 weeks. And she was on, not only was she on the couch the whole time, she had a seat on the couch closer to Andy than the people who had been there the whole damn season. This reunion was a mess. Okay. They also brought up the text messages, and Dennis said that shit wasn't true either. He said, I never said that. He said, I never said that. Now, I told y'all in part 1, the reason why I am not going to put a whole lot of weight on that text message, and y'all might not agree with me, and that's okay because I still love y'all anyway. The reason why I'm not going to put a lot of weight on that text message is because Porsha didn't bring it. I know they showed it during the season. I know she read it during the season. I know she talked to Dennis about it. I understand all of that. But the reason why I'm not putting any weight on that text message is because when they asked about it in part 1, Porsha was like, well, I don't know. I don't have my phone. Ain't no way in hell that Porsha would have had a smoking gun like that where Dennis and is talking to Drew, and Dennis is talking about Drew offering her services for some beats, and Porsha don't have that in her arsenal ready for this reunion. I don't believe it. You ain't gonna convince me otherwise. Now, y'all might want to believe it, and that's okay. I love y'all, but I ain't gonna believe it. Porsha been doing this shit too long. Ain't no way in hell. And she didn't ask to see Dennis's phone. She didn't say, take your phone out and show that text message. Take your phone out. Where that text message at? So I'm gonna tell you what I think that text message was. I don't have a mod in here, do I? Do I have a mod in here? I ain't seen no mods in here. Hold on, cause I ain't got the time for this. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second, child. I might have to mod somebody else up, child, cause I don't see no mods in here. Give me a second. Y'all give me a second. I'm almost done, and I apologize for having to pause for the calls, but give me a second, child. I'm almost done. I ain't got the energy for it. Okay, moving on. Let's go. I ain't got the energy for it. She been doing this. Jay, I might have to mod you up, boo. I'm just not doing. Listen, y'all can come in here. Y'all can have a difference of opinions, and we can disagree all day long. It's some shit that just be irritating me, and I ain't got the energy for it. I don't have the energy for it no more. I'm serious. Like, talking about some stop complaining or quit watching. The ladies deserve their job. Bitch, that's what I do. My job is to talk about the show. Whether you like what I have to say or not, whether you like my opinion or not, that is my job. And if you don't like the way I'm doing my job, nobody is making you be here. So I just escorted you out. Moving right along. So, the Porsha has been doing this way too long. Okay? She know what it is. Now, I'm going to tell you what I think it was. Yeah, Kelly was just looking for a moment. I'm going to tell you what I think happened. I think that Porsha got Dennis to go along with that bullshit during the season. And sometime between the season and that being on the show and the reunion, I think that Dennis either changed his mind or realized that that wasn't a good look and he didn't really want to put that on Drew. Like, I feel like he didn't want to really put it on Drew. Anybody can send a text message from a phone, and the phone. I can put a phone. I can change a number in my phone right now, and it say Dennis or it say baby daddy, and I can text Quake anything I want to text her, and it come through on her phone, and it'll say baby daddy. That don't mean it's really from her baby daddy. So just because Porsha had a text in her phone from Dennis doesn't mean that that's really what it was. But I think during the season, Dennis was going along with it. Because I think Porsha was, she stomped her feet and threw a fucking tantrum. And I think Dennis went along with it. And I think between then and now, Dennis was like, yeah, that ain't sitting right with me. Like, I think he just didn't want to put that on Drew. Because I think he really does have love for Drew. Now, Ralph bitch ass, and yes, that's what I called him. Sorry, not sorry. He went along to Drew said the same thing to me. Now, listen, I know I just got finished telling y'all that Drew be lying, but I believe Drew on this one. I don't believe that Drew offered her services for some beats. I don't believe it, especially not from Dennis. No disrespect, Dennis. But if I feel like if Drew was gonna offer her services, she'd have been over there in the studio with the old boy from Next, with Shamea's producer. Do y'all know how many producers are in Atlanta? If she was offering up her services, I don't think it would have been to Dennis. No disrespect, Dennis. But on that one, I believe that Dennis was lying. I mean, that Ralph was lying. RL, thank you, Brooklyn. RL. I don't know what I was going to say, but it wasn't. So, yeah, that's how I feel about that. And respect to Dennis for not going along with it. Respect for Dennis for not going along with it. Okay. Ralph. Okay, yeah. Drew. I already talked about that. Charles and Angela, listen, all I gotta say is, Charles, you showed up and you showed out, and you were not here to play with the girls. Charles checked all them women in real time. He even kind of borderline went a little too far with Kelly. He went a little too far with Kelly, talking about, you little, I can take you out. Da-da-da. I think he went a little too far with Kelly. I know he was joking, but that's still not a good look with a man. It was a little too much, but he checked the shit out of Shamea and out of Phaedra, and I was here for it. And then Phaedra just gonna say, I mean, it was just a little shade. I mean, it's Housewives. See, that's the shit I don't like. Yes, we're shady. Yes, it's Housewives. Yes, we're going to say stuff. But what we're not going to do is we are not going to sit here and act like all them women did not come after Angela and her marriage all season. That's what we're not going to do. We're not going to sit here and act like and insinuate that y'all were not insinuating that Charles was all over Atlanta throwing the D around to any and everybody who would pick it up. That's what we're not going to do. That is what we're not going to do. Now, see, my computer is doing it again. This must be StreamYard because I'm on the MacBook. So this must be StreamYard that does this glitching thing. This must be StreamYard. So, yeah, that's all I'm saying. Like, I feel like, yes, we can throw a little shade and we can make a few little comments here and there. That's par for the course. But all of those women, starting with Porsha, talking about yeah, I know about Charles. Start with Porsha, Shamea, Kelly, Phaedra, like all of these women, Britt, all of these women made these little nasty ass comments about Angela, talking about some, oh, well, that must be a secret marriage. You know what I'm saying? So again, we know that it's Housewives. We know that they play those games. We know that they make those shady comments, but we also understand when there's a pile up going on. We see it happen all the time. We understand when there's a pile up, and there was a pile up on Angela and Charles and their marriage. And I was here for Charles coming through. He showed up and he showed out for his wife, and I loved it for him. Now, the only thing, Angela, Angela, sometimes you do too much too, and you'll be getting on my nerves. That whole Wendy Williams thing was getting on my nerves. Why did it matter whether Charles would have went on a date with Wendy Williams, girl? You was doing too much. Now you cleared up the story about the Wendy Williams and the baby and the side baby, and you cleared it up. Let that shit go. But you was doing too much. Now your man showed up and he showed out and he had your back and he embarrassed them women's. Let it go. Let the Wendy Williams joke go. Let it go. Baby Charles said, you don't know me. We were in the same room together. He said, he said, we was in the room together. You don't know me. That don't mean you know me. I said, I know that's right, Charles. You better tell him. Charles said, we was in the room together. That don't mean you know me. That don't mean you met me. I don't know you. I've never met you. I said, I know that's right. Baby, Charles did it. Listen, y'all already know Charles is my MVP. He been my MVP all season. I was here for it. Well, Wendy was trying to seduce that man. She was just trying to clear the, okay, y'all defended Angela. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all have it. Because I was here for it. I loved how I just loved how he handled it. I do. I just loved how he handled it because he was like, And then he was like, look, and where y'all husbands at? I'm the only husband here. Shamea talking about some mine at home. Okay, but he ain't here though. That was his point. His point was, where y'all husbands at? Because ain't none of them here supporting y'all. I'm the only husband on this stage supporting his wife. Now, Ralph kind of count because they are still technically married, but you know. I agree, Corey, and I think I said that earlier in the season. Corey said they need to get some married ladies on this show. I miss the days of the husbands, Greg, Peter, and Apollo. I agree, and I also think we talked about this earlier in the show. Earlier in the season, there's a different level of behavior when women are really actually married. Like that whole situation in Grenada would not have been all of that if those women were married. All that twerking and simulated sex and oiled bodies and all that, it wouldn't have went down like that. I mean, remember how much of a scandal it was when Bolo was at the damn bachelorette party. I mean, that's because allegedly Bolo slept with some women's, but you know, I think by so many of the women not being married, I think it lessens how I want to say this. I mean, married women just act different from single women. And I just think there's a different, like if Porsha and Simon were in a good place, Porsha would not have been doing all that bumping and grinding in Grenada. She would not have been doing all that bumping and grinding down to the Grenada. I mean, you saw where Angela was. Angela was dancing, but Angela was off to the side. Not a friend of either Porsha or Shamea, but Porsha is a media trained. Every time Shamea says some truth, Porsha changes. She absolutely is media trained. She is. The show was called Housewives. They need to get back to the basics and bring the actual housewives who live a life. Exactly, Callie girl. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. And I think that has cheapened. You know, I said earlier this season, I went off after that Grenada episode. I went off about the women and the twerking and all of that. And I was like, I'm not going to make this a black and white thing. I am going to say, though, that the women, because we see the married women just act different. Do they act silly? Do they get drunk? Do they do silly things? Yeah. But there's a difference. In my opinion. You know, even on Potomac, the women act silly, the women get drunk, but it don't get to that level. It doesn't get to that level because Wendy married, Giselle married, Candace was married, Monique was married. Even though Giselle, did I say Giselle was married? I didn't mean Giselle. Robin, I think I meant to say Robin. Giselle was single, but Giselle has a certain level of, Giselle going to be a little raunchy, a little silly, but it's not going to get to that level. Like, I cannot see the ladies on Potomac doing being that. I can't see it. Now I could be wrong, but I just can't see it. I just can't see it. Baby, them New Jersey husbands, y'all know I love the husbands more than I love the women on New Jersey, child. Them husbands on New Jersey, baby, I love them. I absolutely love them. Most of the women on New Jersey are married and act a damn fool, but they don't do that. They act a fool like silly act a fool. They don't do that raunchy, twerking, half naked, always lusting over a man's shit. Like that shit with Porsha, with Phaedra and the tongue and it's too much for me. Maybe I'm a prude. Child. Oh, I can see Ashley doing it. I absolutely can see Ashley doing it. Yes. I can see, yeah. Yeah, I can see Ashley doing it. But Ashley is the exception that proves the rule in this case. You know what I'm saying? You know. But anyway, y'all, that's the review. Don't forget tomorrow night, we are going to be on Busy Bee's channel. We are going to be on Busy Bee's channel for the season finale of the Whether You Like It or Not panel and the season finale of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, part 3, the reunion. We will be down to Busy's house. If you are not subscribed to Busy, I will share on my community wall. And I guess we're going to be on hiatus, you guys. We haven't talked about it officially, so I'm not sure. But I guess we're going to be on hiatus till Potomac. I don't know. I know Potomac is filming, but it looks like the next Housewives that's coming up is Salt Lake City. They've been dropping the promo, like the little teaser for Salt Lake City, like coming soon. So we know that the OC just started. Miami is about halfway through. So I guess when Miami is getting ready to end, it might be when we get Salt Lake City. And then we'll get Potomac. So I'm thinking we're not gonna get Potomac till like mid late fall. So we're gonna probably be on hiatus. Not don't pop up at his house. I wouldn't do that. I actually was going to try to go over there, but he's been so busy with work. I was going to try to go over there. I think it was two Mondays ago, because last Monday I was in Detroit. I think the Monday before that I was going to go to his house, but child, you see, Busy didn't even stay on the live the whole time. He's been really busy at work. So no, no. But I was going to. I tried. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I tried. But yeah. So with that being said, y'all, I agree. I think our community needs to start showing society that we are above that and don't have to rely on that for entertainment all the time. Listen, Cali girl, listen. I'm with you when you're right, girl. You know, we don't always agree, but when we agree, we agree. And I definitely 100% agree with you on that one. All right, y'all, let me get up out of here. I'm about to go watch Big Brother. So here's the lineup for the week. I am home, knock on wood. I am in town all week long. So tomorrow we'll do Big Brother. I still have to do Next Gen NYC. I still have to do Divorce Sisters, get caught up on Divorce Sisters. And I'm going to start doing some retro content. I haven't been doing my retro content, but I'm ready to do the next episode of Living Single. I'm going to try to get the next 2 episodes of Living Single with the podcast. I'm going to try to get that. And maybe, I don't even want to say too much more than that. I don't want to overcommit myself, but we're definitely going to do Big Brother tomorrow. Maybe the Next Gen NYC tomorrow. Oh, Noah's Ark. I have to call El Teddy. Matter of fact, Chuck, thank you. Because I saw your comment the other day. Let me text El Teddy right now. Let me see. The people are still waiting for our Noah's Ark review. When are you free this week? Okay. I did it just now. So that way, hopefully Chuck, me and El Teddy will talk. He might be asleep now or in bed, child, or going to bed or something. But anyway, we'll get it. Okay. Thank you, Chuck, for reminding me, because I saw your comment yesterday and I forgot. And also I need to finish up the Ultimatum. I didn't finish watching the episodes because I wanted to come down here and talk to y'all. Now I'm gonna have to probably rewatch those damn episodes again because I don't remember everything that happened. But we're gonna finish up the ultimatum too. All right, y'all. I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good evening. Have a great week, and hopefully I see y'all tomorrow. Okay. All right. Peace.